What's happening? Sorry for being a little late. And welcome to 33rd episode of the Slapstream with Djordje live from Slapsville. Today, my guest will be Chris the Rosario. He's going to join us in a second. He does have some camera issues, so I apologize in advance. So you might not be able to see him through the whole episode, but you will be able to hear him, which is the most important because we're doing this, I guess, some kind of like a podcast style. I hope you guys do not mind that too much. I see there's a decent amount of people here, so thanks a lot for joining. Happy Slapper Day, Carol, and always happy to see you here. Um, and I see that you guys have like a little conversation going on here in a live chat, so that's pretty cool. We created a cool Slapstream community. Um, Everybody's talking nice about Chris, and all right. Before we start, I would like to give a shout out to all the patrons at Patreon. And those are Jake Taylor, Dan Rondeau, Josue Arana, Etienne, Rouzet, Mikey, Paul, Moomaw, Evill, Richard Tralles, Scott Owen, Bob Cullen, and Kurt Ribak. If you'd like to support the show, please check out the Patreon in the description of the video. And if you'd like to donate, check out PayPal and Venmo also under the video. So um, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And Cloudberry is here. So good evening, alihopa, everybody. I'm back to California. I'm back to Los Angeles. So it's kind of morning. It's also morning for Chris as well. Just next day. And glad to see you, Mad Twins, as well. And I do not have G in my first name. I have just two DJs. So just so you know. Um, all right. I think that everybody's ready to start. I'm not sure if Chris is ready to start, but we'll try with a video. And then if you cannot see him, you're going to be able to hear him, and that's more important, especially when he starts playing and talking about all these cool stories with his bands and traveling with Brian Setzer and all these other fun bands that he played with. So without further ado, I will bring Chris into the loop, and we'll see how this goes.
All right.
Chris the Rosario. All
Hey,
right. So I guess we're gonna do this. Like you're gonna be here for a couple of seconds and then gone, but we're gonna be able to hear you, which is the most important.
Sweet. Sorry, man, for the stuff up.
No worries. Like so you can hear me fine, right?
I can hear you perfect. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's the most important. Just like keep clicking on that camera so we can, so we can see you. So everybody can hear you now. So it's everybody's here. I would appreciate if you guys tell me if you can hear me fine and if you can hear Chris fine, and that would be great so that I can adjust this a little bit if I have to. All right, so let's start this podcast thing. I might have to start a podcast and just do the regular non-video thing, but I kind of enjoy the YouTube thing. No worries, Mad Twins. I know what you meant to say. So how have you been doing? How are you surviving the pandemic and the whole end of the world thing?
Oh, it's been crazy, man. It's been very testing. Like that's my normal living, and then to have it taken away, it's been quite intense. Like, lucky I'm good with my hands, so I can build cars, and so I just started getting into car mode, and that's all I've been doing for the whole year, really.
Oh, really? So you have like a regular day job now, or what?
Oh no, I do it myself, like a bit of a hobby. Like I'll buy an old Chevy and an old Ford.
Ah, okay.
restore it and then try and make something, So
Yeah. But no gigs, right? No shows.
I've done probably three gigs this year, so it's insane.
It is insane. It's same here. Is it a complete lockdown in Australia right now as well?
We've opened up finally, but
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
yeah. So we're back to open. Melbourne's finally open, but just I have a couple of bands that make good money, and then like there's just like your duo kind of gig that just that's the only ones I can do at the moment. That just for a bit of fun, really. Yeah, doesn't pay the mortgage.
I noticed that Scott and the Living Gang are going to be playing some shows, I guess at the end of the month or in February. So I assume it's it's a little bit better in Australia than in US right now.
Oh yeah, man, crazy stuff. Crazy.
Oh, it is. Nobody expected this. All right, so I would like to ask you, how have you started playing music?
Okay, my dad's a bass player, electric. My brother, he's a guitar player. My uncles, everyone's pretty much musical in the family. So, sort of born into it, really. Like my parents, my mum sang, my dad played bass, in country sort of style music.
So he's playing an upright bass?
No, just electric.
Electric, all right. Yeah. So how old were you? Oh, how old were you when you started playing music?
Probably about 8 or 10.
Oh, okay. And which instrument did you start on?
Start on drums.
Oh, okay.
And then broke my leg.
Oh.
And then started playing guitar, like jamming with my brother. And then like I just sit there while he riffed for hours. And then finally came across the upright, was like, oh my God, it's the best of both worlds, It's drums and bass and everything combined. So
that's cool. How old were you when you started playing upright bass?
About 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty young.
Yeah, I loved it,
Did you have like one of those smaller basses or?
Brother got me a cello.
A cello, okay.
A cello. And then we put my dad's bass strings on it, and he took the pickups out of his old Fender P bass, and it's like, it's working. So I used that for a bit, but I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, eventually.
So when did you switch to the real upright?
Probably about 12. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
12 years old. It was like we got a half size.
I think that's how I think that I started when I was 12 or 13, something like that. Did you have any formal education, or you're self-taught?
Basically self-taught. I tried to learn with the bowl properly. Like I went for a couple of lessons, but I sucked at bowl really badly. Because I just couldn't get it. I tried really hard, but he showed me how to position my hands properly, so that was handy. And he taught me how to read a bit, so that was good. But
so you were taking lessons for a while?
Probably about a year or two, and then just realized I couldn't get I just had no idea how to play with a bow properly at all. It's just awful.
Yeah, it's lots.
It's a technique. It's a skill.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill and lots of work. It's very helpful for intonation, though. I always recommend it for for my students to learn how to play with the bow. And when did you start your first band?
I would have been around 12. Would have been with my brother. He's a guitar man.
Yes.
So we had a stand-up drummer. It was pretty much like a stray cat thing, Had a young fella, we're all crazily into rockabilly at that stage. Seen the Stray Cats and was like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So were you playing like Stray Cats covers or your own songs?
Oh, Stray Cat covers. That was like the whole thing. It was fun.
Oh yeah, those songs are fun to play, man. Especially if you're 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. You feel like the coolest person on earth.
Yeah. It was like that. It was just crazy fun.
And what was the name of the band?
ROCKABILLY.
Oh,
So
really? Okay. Is it because of Brian Setzer's song or what?
exactly, that was the drummer Mick. He came up with the whole stick. You know, he's like rockabilly, that's us, and he'd stand up like Slim Jim, and we would be crazy. So
We have a familiar fellow here joining us. Kim Neckerman just commented, you know, I see that Australian internet haven't improved yet.
he still hasn't lost his sense of humor either.
Yeah. You know, Kim, I think it's Australian cameras. I don't think it's, you know, internet seems to be working fine, but the cameras have
it's
some
the idiot
issues.
behind this. Yeah. I gotta go for half a second and then done.
Oh, and we have the Soto Mick who's saying good day from the Rockabilly drummer.
Yes, I haven't seen him for a while, but yeah, it was the first drummer I ever played with.
See, he's trying to see you now, but you're not giving us that pleasure now.
I get it.
Okay, you know, just keep clicking on it, so you know, like so people can, you know, trust me that you're really there, not that you're not, you know, that I'm not just talking to myself and pre-recorded Chris track. Okay, so and then that band evolved like into Fireballs, or what was the thing?
It became Firebird Trio.
Firebird,
that became
sorry.
Firebird, and that became I know there's the Fireballs as well.
They're also Australian band, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So were you aware of them back then?
Yeah. First I was Stray Cat mad, and then I seen Joe Phantom play. And he was like the craziest out of the world thing I'd ever seen. You know, he's like, nah, you don't need Stray Cats, man. You can watch, you know, I'd go to his house and he'd play all the records for me. And it was like mind blowing stuff when I heard that.
Yeah, it's so his band is Fireballs, right?
Fireballs, yep.
Yeah. So they've been around for a while, right?
Yeah, played with the drummer for a while too, Mr. Edward. So
okay.
Yep.
So they opened for us when I played Australia with Tiger Army. They opened for us on a couple of shows, I think, or one show. I forgot, but it was fun. I tried to see you then as well, but you were.
I think one of my kids were in hospital or something crazy.
Something going on.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started the Firebird?
Probably about 17, 18. Yeah, around that.
Okay, and that's pretty much the main band.
And you've been playing with. Sort of did whatever we felt like, you know. One minute we were like a jump bluesy sort of band, and then next minute it turned into a psychobilly band, or it'd become a country. It sort of, we had no formula. We just kind of did whatever.
You just wanted to play whatever is whatever you wanted. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, and you know, it was our own thing, so it didn't really matter.
When have you started writing songs?
I started writing when I was really young, and tried all sorts of different projects. I kind of go through phases. Like one minute I'm into very, what I say, authentic sort of rockabilly, and then I'll be like, I like the neo feel, and then I'm in this, just all the different feels of it I enjoy. And then sometimes I'm in like a Led Zeppelin mode, you know, so then start trying to write in that feel or whatever, you know.
But Firebird is kind of like your band. You're the main guy, right?
Yeah, we haven't played for a while. To make money in Australia, it's just playing covers. Cover gigs, because there's no trying to be original. Yeah, we'd sort of just, me and my brother will use a pickup drummer and just go play a handful of gigs on the weekend and just play covers and get paid well. Because original music's so hard to
It's definitely hard.
It is, man. Yeah, you're playing for next to nothing, and you're paying the mixer man at the end of the gig, and you're just working the hell out of it. So,
well, we have to do that. It's the way music progresses. And we have
that's
a first
true.
question for you, and it's from Tonino Adelini. Hello, Chris. I noticed you used to play with a cigarette on your ear when you played with Brian Setzer. I've always wondered, did you ever smoke that cigarette?
No, because I was soaking wet by the end of the gig.
So it was more for, for fashion.
Bit of a stage prop. Yeah.
All right. So how many tours have you done with Brian?
First, I think Hatton was away, so would have been about 2005 or 6. I played in the big band.
Okay. Oh, that's the show. Is that the show in Florida or like a corporate gig or something?
Yeah, it's a corporate fella. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, the reason why I know about it, they also called me for that gig. And so that's the only reason why I know it. And I was on tour with Lemmy at that time. I was like, oh, what is this?
Oh, Lemmy SETZER.
Yeah,
oh, I'm on tour.
It's fun. So you have another question. So Sasha, our also Slapstream regular, he's asking, does Preston Records label still exist in Australia? They recorded Rockabilly, as I know.
Oh, yeah, they did. I don't know if he's still doing anything, but yeah, he was like the go-to guy.
Oh, yeah. I'm not familiar with the label. When were those guys around?
Oh, this was the 80s, man. 80s, 90s. Okay. Yeah. Bands like Straight Eights, they were like the kings of Australian rockabilly, So anything that got recorded, you went to him.
Huh. That's cool. How since we started talking about Brian, how did you get that gig?
I lived in LA since would have been 2002 or something. 2003 would have been that era. And I just played with whatever band I could, and finally word got to him, I think. So I got an audition. Yeah. I'm not really good with the years, but it was a little while ago.
Was there anybody else that showed up at the audition?
Ronnie Crutcher.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's the one. And so, but I guess both of you got the gig because he started playing with Nesh Villains, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you played one show, that Florida show, and then you did, and then you haven't played with him, and then Ronnie played, and then they called you out of the blue after that.
Yeah. So that was kind of strange. Like, I think they'd come here again to do, the Stray Cats were doing whatever year that was, their other farewell tour or whatever. Might have been 2008 or 2009 and then like, he's like, hey, great job. And I'm like, oh, cheers, blah, blah, blah. Great to see you again. And then it was like a year later, get the call.
Okay, awesome. We got an answer from DeSoto Mick. He's saying Preston Records is no more. So there you go, Sasha. So is there any other like rockabilly label in Australia?
I'm trying to think. For rockabilly, there's a guy named Jamie Supper who used to run like a radio program. He'd always have things in the kick. But yeah, it's sort of died off of there. Like, I haven't been in contact with that scene or style for a while now.
Yeah, you told me that you're kind of not playing bass that much these days, right?
No. I did one about, I think it was New Year's. I took the upright to the gig. And after 4 songs, I'm like, Jesus Christ. You got to keep your chops up. I realized, like, I hadn't touched it for like probably a year or two, and then try to jump on it. It's like, this is hard work.
Yeah.
So, like, it's more technique, and I think got to be in that mode of playing, because not the easiest instrument to play, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
Like electric bass, so easy, man, and it works perfectly every gig, and it's upright the whole. It's the room, it's the everything. It just really takes it out of you. Like, it's a mental stress. Is this thing going to be sounding great today, or it's one of those.
But so which instrument are you playing mostly these days? Play guitar?
Yeah, acoustic. I had to switch to that. I've got 2 girls and a mortgage, so I've got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I'm glad you're able to play, to pay the bills, with the guitar and voice. That's
You just whatever it takes, man. Whatever it is, I'll make it happen. Yeah.
Yep. We have to do it. It's especially these days.
These days. Yeah.
So besides, all right. So let's talk a little bit more about your tours with Brian. So how many tours have you done done with him?
We've done a Europe tour, then we've done 2 US tours, Japan, Australia. So it sort of went for, I think, a couple of years, 1 or 2 years, and then
And then it stopped?
Yeah. I did a gig in Vegas.
Did it tell you anything or what?
What happens in Vegas, I guess, stays in Vegas. But I done a gig in, they flew me out for a one-off show, and then that was like, played the gig. I played that with Daniel Glass, I think. Yeah, he was on drums.
Okay.
And then it was like, okay, that's the end of the run.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that Daniel's last show as well?
No, I did a Christmas tour with, like, Firebird supported. That's where I met, like, seeing you played a gig as well.
Yes. I was playing with Drake Bell at the time.
Drake Bell.
And it was Kodak Theater or Dolby Theater. And we were support or guests or whatever, because Brian was producing. He was the producer for Drake's record. We have Tommy Waloranta here. He wrote, I saw Chris for the first time on Brian Setzer's Rockabilly Riot Tour in Finland in 2011. And at that gig, he was, in my opinion, the best bassist of the 3. Greetings from Finland.
He must have bad hearing.
Yeah. That's how you know. And so you did, what did you say? You did like a couple one-offs and 4 tours total?
Yeah.
And and one album came out of the tour in from Europe, or from where?
I think they just grabbed the songs from around, one from Japan, one from so it's all scattered.
That's the only album that you played on, right?
Yeah, with Brian.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah, I actually really like this cover, and it's interesting because you're kind of like on top of the world on this one.
Yeah. And now I'm on the bottom.
And that's how it goes in music business.
That's it, man.
How do you know who did this shot?
Would have been one of the crew, or one of the
one of the guys from the crew?
Probably, or one of the managers, I reckon, would have got that shot.
Yeah, it's a cool cover. So they just grabbed the songs from the mix, and then from the desk.
It must have been from the desk and put it out there. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have that record at all?
Somewhere in the garage or something. It'd be. Yep.
So how was it playing with Slim Jim?
I found him hard to actually play with. Like, yeah, Brian was amazing, of course. Brian was like super easy to play with, but like locking in was, I found it a little bit tough. So I hands down to Lee Rocker for like he can lock him in, you know. I found it, yeah. I just used to playing with probably different style drummers, like more shuffly orientated, like just some drummers you work well with, some
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a different different style. It's funny, when I started playing with Slim Jim, I felt like that I locked with him great. I was like, oh, okay, you know, I've been listening to this guy like for, I don't know, like my whole life. You know,
Yeah.
like, I'm finally playing Rock This Town the way it's supposed to be, you know, to be played. It was kind of revelation. You know, I felt great. We have another question also from Sasha. He asks, who influenced you the most from 50s and who from neo rockabilly?
Okay. Definitely the Willie Dixon, of course. That was like crazy. Bill Haley's fella. That's actually funny. That album cover used to be at my uncle's house, you know, when I was a kid, and I'd be like, how the hell's he standing right on top of it, you know? He was on top of the shoulders, so I kind of ripped that off. But yeah.
So you saw that from Bill Haley's?
Yeah, my uncle had a record, like the cover was in his lounge room, you know, that was there, and it was just so cool to see that guy and the sound of it. First time I heard Rock Around the Clock was like, just holy crap. Just best bass tone ever.
It is. Do you know by any chance who's the name of the bass player that was that did the one that was standing like that on top of the bass?
No, I know there's Marshall and the other fella.
Okay, so
you would know. You are the bass doctor. Yeah.
So interesting thing is that the guy that you're talking about is Al Rapa.
Oh, Rapa.
And he is the dude that that looked so cool on the on top of the base, the one that was standing all the way up.
Yes. Yep.
This guy, it's probably Discover that you were talking about.
That's the one.
And his name is Al Rapa, and he was not even a slapper.
Really?
Not the one that you see on the that you see on he's not the guy that you actually hear on those records. The guy that you hear on the records is either Al Rex or Marshall Lytle. I interviewed Marshall Lytle for Art of Slap Bass. So whoever wants to check that out, it's on artofslapbass.com. He was super kind. He answered like 50 of my questions, and he was in hospital, and really nice dude. Really cool. I tried to get in touch with Alrex, and I talked to him on the phone, but you know, I did not manage to get an interview. That was a long time ago. That was I think 2009 or so. So I guess 12 years ago. But this is really one of the coolest rock and roll photos as far as bass players goes. And,
yeah, that's freaking awesome.
It's really cool. I asked actually Marshall Lytle about that photo, and then he was so kind, you know, to answer all these questions. is great. Sasha is answering. Yes, Marshall was very humble, and Alrex is the one that it's no Al Rapa is the one. It's confusing. There's also another Al that played with Bill Haley. I did a little timeline of Bill Haley's bass players on our Slap Bass. So whoever is interested in that can check that out, because it can get a little bit confusing, but it is what it is. All right, let's get back to Chris de Rosario. Tell me, what was the highlight for you for playing with Brian Setzer?
Just from the first gig in, man. From the first gig was just like, I think we were in Spain and there's like 20 or 30,000 people there. And I didn't like, we rehearsed in Nashville and then it was just like, get off the plane. And then it was just, I was shaking. My nerves were, that was unreal. I was just in shock, like I'm actually on stage with the man. It was crazy.
And so, so first show was the one in Florida, right?
Oh, but being with Slim Jim and Brian.
Oh, you're talking about a Slim Jim. Okay.
Yeah, for that gig was just like, I look over, I'm like, funny, from a kid playing these songs and then to actually be with, both of them up there was just crazy.
So that was the tour that you did just with Brian and Jim, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not the Rockabilly Riot tour that we're talking about. Hatton was on it, right?
No, that was the one with Hatton. That was the first Riot gig.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was in Spain.
But then you went, like, I remember that when I met you for the first time, it was in front of the Blast Cult or King Double Bass back then. I forgot what was called at that point. I guess it was King. And I think you told me that you were going to Japan or something, and then that you're doing the thing just, or did I mix it up with something?
Maybe something else. I don't know. I've had a couple of wines between that year and this year, so.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay, so great. So you did like, a quick question. Like, so since your first gig was with Brian Setzer Orchestra, and I remember that when they called me, that the one like they asked me two questions: do you sing backups and do you read music?
Yeah.
Do you read music?
Yeah, not great by any means. Johnny Hatton's like real at it. He can sight read anything. He can just look at a page. For me, I need like about a day to just. I have to get it in my head, and then I can play it out. I just use it more as a point of reference rather than reading off a sheet. I can't sight read. Yep.
Did they send you the charts like beforehand, or you just had to do it at the gig?
They sent me the charts, but then they changed the set list at the gig. So that was more nerves again. It's like, oh man, here we go. But yeah, I got through it. Yeah.
How many people were at that show? Because it's a corporate gig.
Just probably a couple of hundred. Yeah,
okay.
200 people. The small one. Yeah.
So were people into it at all?
Yeah, they actually were at that one. I've done the other one in Vegas. They were not really that into it. It's just one of those corporate kind of. I'm like, it's Brian Setzer on stage, and they, it's just. I'm sure he got paid a lot of money, but
they just drink booze and hang out.
Yeah, pretty much. I think they're more into themselves. I think they just wanted the name at the gig or something. Yeah. They got a lot of money to burn, so who cares? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird world.
It is. It is a very strange world. Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you about with Brian, so you did that, and you did a tour with Hatton. How did that come together? Like, because on that tour, both of you were playing basses. Were you playing basses at the same time at all, or
we sort of got up for a bit of fun. I think for the last 3 songs from memory, 2 or 3 songs we played together. But then there's 2 drums going as well. There's Jim
and it was Jim on drums when you played. Okay.
When I played, yeah.
Man, that gotta be magical. That
was magical, man. Yeah. But I'll never forget those moments.
I'm glad you were able to do that. That's amazing.
You should have done the fill-in for Miami. Then you would have done what I did. Yeah. Like, hey, you with Lemmy. Good Lord, how was that, man?
That was amazing. You know, like Lemmy is definitely one of the coolest people I ever played with. And, you know, I learned a lot. I was a kid. And, you know, I have lots of stories, you know, to tell after that gig. So it was pretty amazing, you know, just playing with such a huge rock star who, you know, who became
Mhm.
my friend basically. And then I talked to him on the phone. And you know, he called me once from Chile. It's I don't know. It's
Oh
kind of
wow, man.
surreal from this point, um, in this perspective. But I'm really happy I did it, and it was amazing. Yeah,
Sweet.
it was really cool gig. Um, all right, so uh, let's get back to Firebirds. And so, are you guys sometimes Firebirds, sometimes Firebird Trio, or always Firebird Trio?
Always Firebird Trio.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. But me and my brother play covers like duo. So I might take the upright now and again for a little corporate gig or something. Like
Oh,
a
okay.
back, you know. So I have a bit of fun with
And
it.
these days, when you perform, do you perform as a with your brother when you do it under the name of Firebird, or
No,
oh no?
actually just Pete and Chris, that's about it. Like, yeah. And
Okay.
because we're locals, you know, there's like, oh, Pete and Chris are playing up the hill. So
In
just
which
pretty,
city do you live?
I'm in Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay. Are you
Melbourne.
friends? Are you friends with the guys from the Living End?
Scott, yeah, I don't know him personally that well, but oh man, they're always nice when I do see them. Scott's a killer bass player.
He's great.
He,
I had him like I forgot it was it like fifth or you know one of the early episodes of the Slapstream.
yeah, I see.
It was
Yeah.
a long one. We had actually to pre-record it, um, because of the time difference. What time is it right now at your place?
7, just coming up to
7.
7.
Okay, so we started this at 6 a.m.
Yeah, and I was excited, and then I can't work this thing out at all. Just
Well,
yeah,
you know, we can hear you. That's the most important thing. And you know, I'm sure that other viewers would love to hear you play as well. Do you mind grabbing your bass? Do you have your bass
oh,
with you somewhere
yeah,
around?
man. Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's do this.
Uh,
We're not going to be able to hear you, but uh, we can see you. So let's do this. What you gonna play?
I don't know, man.
All right, jam out.
Okay, I don't play anything. Can you hear it?
Yes, we can
Yep.
hear you perfect.
Oh, what do I like? Oh, yeah. Can you hear that okay?
Yeah, we hear you
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah. I haven't played Caravan forever, but I just love that rumba. Yeah.
It's a cool riff. That's the Mark Winchester played on that record with Brian, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's I always liked the way they did Caravan together.
Caravan.
I
That
think that
was
they
killer.
were also nominated or they won a Grammy for that
Grammy.
cover.
That's yes. Yep. I remember seeing that when they were doing that Japan gig or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool. Yeah, thanks for playing. That's a good choice. Sasha is saying holy macaroni, so I guess he likes your playing.
No.
Met Twins are asking you, Chris, please tell us how Pete is doing. Are you playing together in Melbourne?
Little bits. Little bits. When I play in a Creedence cover band now. That's my main
Oh, wow.
gig. Yeah.
Do you sing or you just play?
Yeah, I have to sing Fogarty songs, and I just play electric bass for that gig. So that's
How was that? Is it fun?
it's fun. Good guys, good guys. Singing, it's like pushes. John Fogarty's got a really, really high voice. So yeah, that's pushing the boundaries for me a bit.
Yeah.
But
Good singer.
but good singer. Yeah, good songs, good singer. Yeah.
Good songs as well. Yeah, I love their songs. It's really, they had, something special going on. I even covered one of their songs like for my Slap Bass Sunday series that I was doing, and then I stopped, but I might do it again or something like that. But
Yeah.
I covered that on a solo bass, looking out my back door.
Oh yeah. Yep. Classic. Green River was actually done on an upright.
Oh,
Yeah.
which one?
Green River.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So
That's it's good to know. Let me we have another question for you from Wildcat 13.
yep.
Chris, how did you get to have Brian's bass? I'm
No,
not sure what you
actually,
meant by
that was
that.
my one. Like they were going with a full theme with the sparkle. The black and green sparkle was like Brian had the Gretsch made.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, Jason. I said, oh, I sent him a picture of my other one, which was pretty much the same bass, but in a red sparkle.
Uh-huh.
So I said, Jason, I took a couple of pictures of mine, and he's like, no problem, I'll make you a green sparkle one in that.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Yeah.
so he made you. Was it? It was King back then. It was not Blackout yet, right?
It had just switched over. It just become, yeah, it's got the blast cult on the back.
Oh, okay. So it is a Blackout. Okay.
Yeah, it was probably the first run of them or something.
Yeah. Okay. So it was probably made around the same time, or I mean, a little after this one.
Yeah, that's a beauty, man.
Yeah, I remember that I saw you. I guess it was in front of the Blackout. I thought it was in front of the King double bass, but it's kind of like the same neighborhood in Orange.
Yeah.
Are you still in touch with Jason?
I haven't spoken to him for a while, man.
He
I
moved
guess.
to London.
Sorry?
He moved to London.
Oh, really? He's out of LA.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
there's Blackout in London and there's Blackout in Orange now.
Wow. Okay.
So 2 shops expanding.
Shop.
Business is booming.
Booming. The bass is booming out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He makes a good bass and pickups
excellent basses. Excellent basses. He's making me another bass. He gave me another black bass that I used with Tiger Army, and I'm really excited about this new one that he's going to build for me. Hopefully this year going to be done. We'll see. You never know with Blackout. Lots of
You
surprises.
never know. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, you know that it's going to be good. So that's the priority.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's always good workmanship and real easy to play as well. Like compared to other basses, they're just designed especially for the slap. You know what I mean? They're just great. Yep.
When things get back to normal, which is hopefully soon, do you plan to continue touring on upright, or are you gonna just do what you do now, guitar and singing?
Yeah, I've done one Europe tour that was like the tour from hell, and me and my brother on the plane trip back went, that's it. I'm done with this.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was crazy. We got stuck at some like people's houses for months and got ripped off paying and get home and you're like, oh, okay, I'm done with this. I'd rather just stay at home and make some money and pay the bills, man. Yeah.
It's tough being on the road, especially by your own.
Exactly.
When you write your own songs, what is the process for writing?
Basically melody is the key for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you start with a melody.
Yeah, pretty much start with the melody in your head and then sort of put everything else around it. Yeah, but definitely melody is the most important thing to me, I think.
And then you do lyrics and then music, or
Then music. Yeah, put the music and just whatever lyrics fit. Make that's pretty much how I think about it.
okay.
Yeah, base it around the melody.
So you write music for Firebird, or you write music for other projects as well?
Other projects as well.
Okay.
Yeah, like this, I'll be in a Ryan Adams mode or something, or I'll be in a Led Zeppelin mode, and I'll just write an album for myself.
And you would record it with which band?
Pretty much everything's always with my brother.
Okay.
And that guy's a great shuffle drummer. We'll use him for that feel. Like I'll just pick which guy suits the style of drums. Yeah.
And it's always under the Firebird name or not?
No.
No.
No. We've had different projects, but everything we get motivated and then go back to earning no money and then just go, well, let's just play covers again and get paid. Yep. It's sad, but it's true, man. It's sad.
Yeah. Mad Twins are wishing you luck.
Oh, they're beautiful girls.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're great. If you guys are not familiar with Mad Twins, check out Mad Twins art.
Yeah, they do some really cool stuff.
Really cool. Really, really cool. And so when you were growing up, were the Living Gang an influence as well?
Yeah, we do they were pretty much the same age of group when we kicked off. So they were like the other band. And then it just was like what they do, Prisoner of Society, and it was like boom. It was, so then every gig it was like, can you play Prisoner of Society? Can you play?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So was that a surprise when their career took off?
No, they were rockabilly like us, and then they put that punk edge on and made it their own, and it was like, off it went. I think it was the perfect timing because you got to have something that sort of relates to it. Like you had Green Day, and then this was like the Aussie version to me, like a personal, like when I hear it, I go, it's Green Day, but it's Stray Cats mixed.
Yeah.
That would be my take on it. I might be wrong, but yeah, that's how I hear it.
I think that lots of people think the same way. I love that band. Great songwriting and great,
good melodies,
great playing as well. Good production. Yeah. It's good musicianship. I appreciate those guys a lot. How many albums do you have with the Firebird?
Probably about 8 or something. Okay. Some we never released as well. Like
any new music coming up?
Not really, man. Not feeling the. If there's a tour coming off or something where there's money, it comes down to just having the right mix come up. Like if you had the right support to do, we'd make it happen. But otherwise.
So the lockdown and the whole pandemic thing is not very inspiring.
No. Yeah, it's weird how that sort of I thought once we'd be free to leave the house, I'd be going out and being crazy. But it's like comes weekend, I'm like, I'm tired. Just sit at home and look at some YouTube. Yeah.
Are you looking up Slapstream on YouTube?
Yes, man. I've watched. Yeah, it's awesome. That's like if I had this when I was a kid, it'd be.
That's what we all say. That's kind of why I created this whole thing.
The best.
I want to bring all these stories. First, I want to document all the people that I think are important and nowadays seen. All the stories, because we're all going to be gone one day, so it's important to document right now. I strongly believe that it's appreciating nowadays talent is at least equally important as acknowledging the guys like Willie Dixon or Pops Foster and all those cats.
Kings. Man, this would have been the craziest thing to have as a kid. Like I was obsessed when I was 12. I'd go home and practice for hours, having no idea what I'm actually doing. That was the worst part about it. But I was just passionate every day.
So who was the first guy that you tried to kind of copy?
Would have been Lee Rocker. Would have
Lee
been
Rocker,
that whole
okay.
Lee Rocker and Willie Dixon. Yeah.
So you discovered Willie Dixon that early on?
Oh yeah, because my dad, what song was it? Carol. He put Carol on, where Willie Dixon's going crazy with Chuck Berry, and it's just like, what the hell's that? You know, it was just, I couldn't get enough of that song.
So you basically discovered Willie Dixon through rock and roll, through Chuck Berry.
Through Chuck Berry, yep.
Oh, okay. And then later on, you found out about Big Three Trio and all the Memphis Slim stuff?
Yeah. So,
okay.
But yeah, definitely Chuck Berry was the first guy to introduce me to Willie Dixon. That's for sure. That whole chess thing was, and then found Howling Wolf, you know, was like, man, holy crap. Mind blowing stuff.
Yeah, I share a birthday with Howling Wolf.
Yeah.
Always like, this is pretty cool guy to share a birthday with.
I know, man. He's just bigger than life, that fella. That's for sure.
Yeah. Not your voice.
Yeah. And just like, it's blues, but it's more evil than any other music to me, you know? It's just he's scary. Yeah.
It's out of this world. It's amazing. Do you ever teach?
I have. I've taught a couple of kids how to play. And then I find, like, for an upright, you've got to have good hearing. I think that's key, and timing. But like, you could teach a kid electric bass much easier than an upright, because you have to use your ears pretty much. And if a kid can't hear the difference in notes, it makes it a little bit frustrating. When you're trying to teach them. It's like, can you hear that? You know. Yeah, so I'd be like, oh, your kid's great, but yeah, I'm not going to take your money, you know. So I haven't done it for a little while.
Do you still teach?
No, I haven't for probably 5 years. I haven't.
Okay. I kind of love teaching. You know, I started kind of even teaching more now during the COVID time, just because I don't go on tours. I'm still pretty busy with other projects, but I do love teaching. You know, like one day I might just do it full time. I don't know.
Oh, you got good patience, man. You got to have the right mindset and patience, and it's beautiful when you see that you've taught someone to play like from nothing, and you just watch it grow. You know,
it is. It's
a beautiful thing. It's like passing on the back. Here's what I've learned. Now you take it and you do what you got to do to it. Yeah.
When we talked about your beginnings and you know, the bands that you played with back then, how was the rockabilly and psychobilly scene back then in Australia?
It was great when I was a kid. It was full. It was like packed with people.
Are we talking early 90s or mid 90s?
Early 90s was the time. Yeah. That's when it was all happening. Early 90s was like, man, it was awesome. Like, everyone was young and just into it, and like it sort of all just disappeared over time. It just dropped off.
Why did it happen in such a big level? Was it because of the Stray Cats?
Yeah, there's definitely the Stray Cats would have been the big thing. And then you had like the Fireballs, which was another band that was like a metal band, psychobilly. That was big. Like, everyone was young and really into it. You know, it's just that age level, I guess. Of the 90s was the time. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, Scott was talking about Fireballs as well. It seems like that band was very influential back then. And how's the rockabilly and psychobilly scene now?
Pretty dead. Yeah. Yeah, real dead. That's why I don't really do it anymore, because it's not worth trying to put something together. Unless you're doing what would I say? Like dance, more rock and rolly, dancey stuff. You'll get your 50 to
Like
70.
more traditional rockabilly.
Oh, as long as it's slow, as long as it's
Oh,
slow, as long as they can dance to it, they're happy. But anything musical goes over their head. They wouldn't have a clue what they're listening to, or
We have a couple more comments. Wildcat 13. She says in the 90s, the Melbourne scene was huge. Gigs on several nights a week at various places.
Yes.
And Tattoo Waloranta, he says the Lincolns is great Australian teddy boy rock and roll band. And Sasha is mentioning the Wildcats, Hot Dogs, the Dance Hall Racketeers.
Yep.
So are you familiar with all of these?
Yeah, I've probably seen them at some stage, like when I
Okay.
used to be doing the rounds. Yeah, that's for sure.
So
Yeah.
so Sasha is continuing. So he is besides the Wildcats, the Hot Dogs, the Dance Hall Racketeers.
Yes.
He's mentioning the Renegades, the Straight Eights, yes, and then
Yes, right.
Tony and the Tomcats.
Don't know Tony and the Tomcats. No.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
The guy knows the guy knows the Aussie scene, and the
Ah,
Sodomic. He says the scene is full of water drinkers, so not enough dough for pubs.
that's true. That's true.
Really? I thought that
Yep.
rockabillys like to drink.
I guess it's an older crowd, There's not like everyone's pretty much. It starts at probably 45 to 80. That's your sort of audience. That's what I picked up the last time I was at one of those gigs. It was like, oh man, okay. Is there any young people here? Not really. Yeah.
Yeah, you need young blood for sure. Well, at this point, I would like to remind all the viewers, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button, slap that like, and leave a comment. You can leave the comment in the description of not in the description, under the video, and tell me who would you like me to feature next. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's Patreon link. That's the main one in the description, and Venmo and PayPal. And you can do also super stickers and super chat that are available under the live chat of the video. All right, we have Chris the Rosario here. We're talking about rockabilly and bass and Aussie scene and psychobilly, and we talked all kinds of bands. Mad Twins have a question for you. Chris, who was the first European psychobilly rockabilly band you saw live?
I never really got to see any of them except Necros when my brother joined.
Oh, really?
Yep. Like I was mad on Frenzy, Klingons, Happy Drivers, Demented Argo, all that European stuff. But only really got to see Kim Necroman do it. That was.
And did your brother join Necromantics at one point?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he done a couple of tours. I think he done a year or something. And
okay, so he was a member of the band.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For a short time. Yeah. I was the roadie on the first tour. That was awful. Roadie? Yeah. Oh, that was crazy.
You have your bass with you. Do you mind playing one more?
Yeah, man. I can. Yeah, I'll stuff around. It's getting warm here, so it keeps going out.
Cool.
All that way. There you go. Bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm getting like a man on a what else? What else can I think of? I also love Happy Drivers. Become sloppy as hell.
Well, you sound great. Carolyn is clapping, and we have Medvins clapping as well.
Oh, the sweetheart.
And let me see if I can add myself as well. Wildcat wrote Tarata, great choice.
Yeah, I love that as a kid. He was a great bass player. He had some cool. I think it's Alan or something like that, maybe.
Sorry, who are you talking about?
Happy Drivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is his name?
Alan. I don't know his surname, but yeah.
I'm not that familiar with that band. Chris was Scott was also talking about Happy Drivers and Thomas, and I did. I'm just not that familiar with that band. I guess I have to check it out.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that first riff that you played. That reminds me a lot. Well, first, like which song was that?
There's a version of All Shook Up. I just mess around with songs when I'm bored.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you come up with that riff? It reminds me a lot with on Jimmy Sutton's riff that he played with J.D. McPherson.
Oh yeah, there is a song that goes. Yeah, what's that song called? No, too early in the morning to think what it is, but there is a song like that. Yes, it's got that lots of space.
Was that an inspiration?
That was probably my Willie Dixon, like a Howling Wolf inspiration.
Okay.
It's got that whole, that drag that he used to do. Howling Wolf had a good drag on him. I mean, Willie Dixon.
I don't think I ever heard Willie Dixon doing that particular slap, but do you have any songs that you can recommend for me to check out?
Oh yeah, it's a live. I don't know what year it is, but there's a live version of him playing "Dust My Room" with Howling Wolf, and it's got that like he's slapping the shit out of it.
Oh, cool!
It's cool. I found it on YouTube.
All right.
During the lockdown, so I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah. I'm very familiar with his Big Three Trio stuff, and then with most of his recordings, but I'm not sure if I ever heard him playing that particular slap pattern.
Okay, and that's all I can hear. It was a live thing. Yeah.
Please, if you remember, please send me a link for that one.
I will do for sure, man.
I would
What
like to
else?
talk about your setup. So what
Okay.
kind of bass do you use?
I got an Engelhardt that does me really well. I
Okay.
have a sickness in my collection of basses.
How
Like
many
I
basses
have
do you own?
8.
8 uprights.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
bad.
What kind of basses are those?
Mainly old fellas like a Germans and French and Czech. Got a couple of Czechs.
Okay, and you have a Blast Cult and Engelhardt.
Yeah, mainly
So the
just
one,
use. Sorry, go ahead.
so what is the one that you just played for us?
Engelhardt.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just a ply body. But to be honest, it doesn't matter. Like you know, the main thing is they say to have a spruce top and has to be, this put together this way. I think it's more just the sound of each individual instrument. There's some ply tops I reckon sound 10 times better than a solid spruce top worth crazy money. You
Mhm.
know.
So the basses that you have are mostly hybrid or mostly full on plywood?
Mostly spruce tops. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So is that your
But they break easy. They break.
that's what you prefer?
I prefer, but they break. Like taking them to gigs and stuff, I'm a little bit clumsy.
Uh-huh.
So and the heat kills them as well. Like I'll take one to a gig and it's blown up in the car, just
Oh.
driving to a gig. So, the Engelhardt seems to be the best working bass for me,
And
and it sounds good.
are they like spruce tops or fully plywood?
Uh, Spruce tops, but the
Okay.
Engelhardt's is a ply, it's just a cheap ply bass,
Okay.
and that one's my favorite gigging bass. I use the other ones for recordings or something if I get a session.
It's Tattoo just remember that that riff that you played reminds him as well on JD McPherson's
Country,
Country Boy.
yeah, ain't nothing but a country boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. That's pretty similar. That's probably the same riff anyway.
It's pretty similar. You know,
Right.
if anyone is interested to check it out, they can check out the episode with Jimmy Sutton, and then he showed us how to play that riff. So
Yeah,
another excellent bass player. So what would you say?
yeah.
What is the main style for you? You know, I know it's rockabilly or whatever slap related, but what do you prefer to play?
Okay.
Rhythm and blues, jump blues, rockabilly,
Yeah,
psychobilly.
rhythm and bluesy. Like I find it more interesting. I'll give you. Like, just say you're playing a rockabilly, a bluesy. It works better if you don't slap that. Like you make. I sort of pull across the strings to not have the slap. I rather push air. So I rather it pushing air than too much slapping. If you get what I mean.
Okay. And
Yeah.
do you play any jazz?
Yeah. Yep. I
And
do love my jazz. Manhattan always had jazz talks a lot.
oh, cool. Who's
Yeah.
your favorite jazz bass player?
I'd have to say Jacob Asturis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like mentally crazy good.
Huh.
He did play upright too.
Oh,
Like
I
I know
haven't heard him play. You know, or might have heard him, but I mean, the majority of the work that I'm familiar with is definitely on the electric.
Yeah, on the jazz bass. He was probably like the first guy to take the frets out of a electric bass and give it that sound. He was the innovator of craziness.
Oh, he was definitely an innovator. Let's get back to your gear. And so we talked about your basses. What is your choice for fingerboards?
Rosewood's nice. I find that some ebonies are a bit too tough. I find like sound wise, too attacky.
Okay.
So yeah, I prefer in between is a lot better. Yep, for myself.
And what kind of pickups are you using?
I've got the blast cult pretty much on all my basses. If I'm not using a blast cult, I'll use like a Underwood. Put one on, take one off, like Tom Usley.
Okay.
That kind of, yep. He's another cool bass player from the Paladins. Love him to death. Yep. Who else?
So Underwood is your favorite pickup?
No, the Blast Cult.
The
new one. Yeah, the Blast Cult.
But didn't you say that you're using Underwood or not?
No. That's my second preference. That was what I used forever till Jason hooked me up and.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. And the blast cult strings always.
Yeah, pretty much the gut. I tried the steels, but they were too. It's all right if you're slapping them, but man, couldn't get it. Couldn't get a nice. If it was playing pizzicato or whatever on it, I just found them too floppy for me.
Huh, interesting.
I used to play Spiracores, I think. Like,
yep, I play Spiracores.
Yeah, you get a good sound. See, the other thing I find with like, are you using magnetic pickups with your system or?
I have, Jason made like a Djordje signature pickup, and I combined 3 different pickups at the same time. It's an idea that I had when I was a kid, and then I was bugging Jason for a long enough time, and then he made me.
It sounds great, man. Because I find like if it's just magnetic, it doesn't. It sounds like a processed kind of tone. Whereas when I heard you play, it's like he's playing steels, but he's giving it. It just had that warmth to it and the perfect attack, not too bright, not too. Yeah, it's just a personal preference to like each one's ears.
It is. It truly is.
That's for sure. It sounds like it's almost got a mic in front of it. Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely my favorite pickup, the one that Jason made for me. I love it. And do you have a favorite amp?
Love the GKs, the old ones. Like the first series where they had that perfect mid scoop. You press that, and that was the best upright bass sound for me. What else? I use a Fender Rumble now for most gigs. One of those cheap 500-watt things. I pick it up with one hand, and I'm in and out the cast like within a minute. So it's great. Yeah.
And how about the cabinet?
Cabs. I like Ampeg cabs for some reason. I just really love an Ampeg 410.
410s?
Yeah, 410s. I find the 15s are too like flat out, and the 10s just have that right punch. 12s are good as well.
Have you tried 12s?
Yes, that's in the little Rumble I've got. That's got 2 little 12s in it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that does the job.
I think that most of the people prefer 10s, don't like 15s, and some people really like 12s.
12s are beautiful. 12s are probably the best spot, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. I play 8 10s usually.
Oh, that's the bridge. That's the you'd feel that on stage nicely.
Yes. I like that. I use orange, and it's a good sound. And as far are you using any pedals or any processors or anything?
Reverb sometimes.
Are you using reverb on bass?
Yeah, on the upright. Oh, it gives it that Bill Haley sound, man.
Oh, okay.
Because if you listen to the record, when you hear just the bass on its own, you can hear it's got that reverb tone to it. So
do you use kind of like a delay type of thing, like a slapback, or just reverb?
no, just reverb. Slapback gets too,
Okay.
it start jumping around crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but just a kiss, just enough to, it gives it that extra bit of room, you
Okay.
know? Yeah. So that's the only little pedal I use.
What else should I ask you? Like, as far as any other gear that you're using?
No, just the Ampeg setup with the GK head.
So what were you using with Brian?
It started off as a SWR cabs. Oh, it stayed SWR, but I snuck in a GK head. Just one of those portable ones for that gig.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't really see it, but it was there.
That was the one.
That was the one for me. I didn't like the SWR head too much.
Huh.
Yeah.
Was that yours, or they just?
No, that's that was a backline for the tour.
Ah, okay. So that's what they kind of insisted.
Yeah.
Cool. So as far as your playing goes, you told me that your first influences were Willie Dixon and Lee Rocker.
Lee Rocker. Jimbo Wallace as well.
Oh, Jimbo. Okay.
Yeah. Like he was solid. Just a good, solid. I call him like the Tommy Shannon of the Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like just real solid. Keep played for the song. One of those. I love him. Tom Usley. He'd be another fella. Just like he didn't slap that much, but when he did, it sounded like it just popped its head out for me. So that was really an awesome thing to.
He's an influence to lots of people. Lots of people.
He's got it going on. He's got the swagger.
Have you ever seen him play?
Yeah, heaps.
Okay.
I loved him. Yeah. Whenever No, in the US. Like the doll and all that, I'd be everywhere he was. Just love Paladins.
How long were you living in Los Angeles?
I'd do a year and go home and then come back, then try again. Just kept going back and forth. Yep.
So were you trying to stay here?
Yeah, I got a green card so I think that it would have expired by now because I went home, kids, mortgage, all the normal stuff, and then life sort of takes over a bit. Yeah. But I was trying to be a full-time muso in the US. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. I used to play in HeadCats as well for a bit.
That's my next question that I wanted to ask you, because I remember that I was seeing your face with on some of the promo photos with Hillbilly Hellcats.
Yeah, he's a lovely.
A quick question. Now it just occurred to me. Have you played with the Hillbilly Hellcats that Psychobilly Festival, Quake City Shake in San Francisco?
No, that wasn't.
You haven't. Okay.
No, I don't. Sorry, go ahead.
I seen them with someone, but I do not remember the face of the bass player at all. And it was 2004.
Okay.
I remember the year. It was probably February or March, because it was right after I moved to the States.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I remember it was not Lance. It was not Lance. It was somebody else.
Lance is a good player too.
Yep.
Yep. He's another good slapper.
Any slap bass players that you like nowadays?
I have there's Jimmy Sutton, all those guys, the new fellas that have come out, amazing. I just haven't found been in this loop enough to come across any fresh stuff, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Just for this style of music, you have to go searching and then you'll come across it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I created the Slapstream, so I made it easier.
You made it a walk in the park. My God. It's like,
Yeah.
this is how you do it. Because trying to listen to things and have, like, you can't picture where their hand is or what technique are they using, 2 fingers or 3, and just the sounds that are coming out from you guys is incredible.
Since we're talking about that, like, how many fingers are you using?
I use 2.
Which ones?
The first index and
Okay.
yeah, just going.
And do you have? I mean, since I cannot see you, do you have your bass in hand?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna look it's like, okay, see you for a second, then you're gone.
I'm gone, man.
And okay, I'll do your photo again. I kind of like that, like while you're playing.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what what is the terminology that you're using when you talk about different slap bass patterns?
For me, I'm totally retarded with it. It's pretty much the usual, I guess, what everyone else sort of says, like a single slap or a double or a triple,
Okay, so what would be a single slap for you?
That'd just be the one.
Okay. And double?
Yeah, that'd be my double. And then, what else what would you call? That's a double, yeah? Or is that a triple?
Well, I call that a triplet. I call both of those slaps that you just played, I call them triple slaps because you have 1 pull and 2 slaps, and I count the slap of the string and I count the slap of the palm as well. So both of those have 3. So I would consider both of those triple slaps. The first one I call gallop, and the second one I call triplet.
Triplet. Okay, and then there's a. And
wait. How would you call that?
Well, a quadruple.
Okay. Yeah. That's how I call it too.
So I use that if I'm bored, just if I'm doing a hillbilly thing or an Elvis sort of song, I'll be. Not all the time, just put it in there maybe once in the song or something.
Yep. And any other slap patterns that you use?
Rumba. What would you? I don't know what you call that. So I'd practice stuff like that. I'd be listening to the Reverend Auden Heat for hours,
Uh-huh.
And that's a good, I call that a rumba, I think.
Yeah, right? I call it the same.
Yep.
All right, anything else?
I use like a palm thing a bit. So I'll be like. Whatever that is.
That might be a cool trick to show for the lesson part, but since we cannot see you, we might have to do that some other time. Do you mind do that like one of the days when you actually are able to connect the camera?
Oh, what an idiot. Sorry, man.
No worries. How did you develop your particular style of playing?
Just listening to good music. That would be like Reverend was a big part.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Reverend. Definitely Willie Dixon. Bill Black. That whole he had the thing going on too. And psychobilly, yeah. All that European psychobilly was like great for learning how to get quick.
And we have Thomas just joining us. He wrote cool for your playing. You have Thomas's approval.
Yeah. I think with upright, there's no right or wrong with it. It's a form of art, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
If it sounds good, it sounds good. That's basically what it counts. What would you say are the most essential slap-based recordings, by your opinion?
Will be Elvis, Let's Play a House. Definitely all the Bill Haley stuff, all the Reverend, Necromantics, or even Mad Sin. Mad Sin's crazy good stuff. Like, if you're young, that would be my go-to, I'd say. Get into that. And then also your rootsy, like just learn your Willie Dixon simple lines and just learn how to play along with it nicely. Like that's more of it's a feel thing for that. That comes with, I think, experience, where you can be attacky when you're young and just be like, but as you get older, you'll be give it a bit of dynamic.
Okay.
I love the woof of an upright bass. You can't get that on electric. So that's the part that works for me. I find I become more of the instrument that way, rather than being attacky and slappy. I think if you feel that woof of an upright bass, you can't get that out of any other instrument.
Yes, upright is a special one.
It is. It is.
I have to apologize to Thomas. He wrote, "I'm not just joining. I just didn't comment before." Sorry, Thomas. I meant that you're joining us in a live chat in this conversation. How about that save?
Yeah.
Sasha is asking you, are you playing Selmer strings? But we already talked about that, and you are playing blast cults. Sasha, pay attention.
Yeah, it's a bit of just gut. Sometimes I use an E&A like wound, but it depends on the PA guy. They don't. When I was on the SETZER thing, I had a E wound gut string was with the steel wrap around it, and he said that, and he found that really disturbing for the mix.
Okay.
But he said just E strings so much more punchier than the D and G and A, you know.
Got
so
it.
then I went to full gut because it stopped him having problems.
Okay.
But the only problem with the E when it's just a bit floppy for me, I find the E string it's a bit too woofy.
Which E?
On a gut string E.
Okay.
Yeah. But it depends. If you're playing with a big PA, you got to have each string pretty much the same. It helps them with the mix.
Sure.
Yeah.
Since you played with different bands and then you had different band leaders, what were usually the band leaders? What were the requirements? Like, were they asking you, "Hey, play more slap," or "Don't play slap"?
Well, when I
do whatever you did.
Oh no! When I first moved to America, I was just slapping I was young, I was like in my early 20s, 21, 22, and everything was like, I'm just listen how many licks how fast I can slap this thing, And then I met Mitch Marine from Dwight Yoakam, and he's like, come with me, I'll sit you down, I'll teach you what you're doing wrong. He's like, you're just playing over everyone and trying to fit as much slap stuff as you possibly can. He's like, no. There's reasons why great songs don't have that going on in it, play for the song. So he took me under his wing, and like I just sit there with drums and bass, and because he could play a bit of electric bass or whatever, but he sat me down and really explained it to me. So I learned a lot off Mitch Marine. That was like my changing moment in music.
Yeah. That's a cool story. Were you playing with any other bands in the US?
I was, but I couldn't remember if you said the name, I'd go, oh yeah, I did. It was just wherever there's a gig, I was there. It was like just getting out there and playing.
In mostly Los Angeles. You were not touring at that time.
No, not much. No, only little bits. Like if there's a show gig, I'd go out and do something, but not really. Yeah.
Where were you living at that time? Which neighborhood?
Manhattan Beach, and then Rondeau.
Really?
Yep. Wow. But it was like a shoebox underneath someone's house. It was tiny.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And it's expensive.
That's the area where I live.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't see many, rockabillys down there.
No. But it's a nice area. The water's beautiful. Yeah.
It's I love being on the beach. It's really cool.
It is very refreshing.
Since you had that experience moving to another country, looking for gigs, what would be your advice how to get a gig? How were you looking? I mean, maybe actually I'm more interested, what would be your advice for people now looking for gigs? How to get a gig?
Okay, main thing is be open to every style of music. Learn electric bass as well. Like I know there's a lot of upright bass players like, do you play electric? I'm like, no. And I'm like, well, you should actually. It will help you. Like every part of it, you'll learn different scales on electric, which you'll then throw back on a double, and it'll give you an extra opening in your mind of what you can actually do. Well, that's how I felt when I was playing electric and doubles. Like I can convert this from what I just learned on the electric, whereas trying to learn it on the double and then do it the other way around is much harder because you already know the notes you're going to play properly. Because there's no frets or anything on an upright, so it just opens your room up a bit. Sing backups as well. Always be open your mouth and sing, even if just learn harmonies is very important, I'd say.
Do you sing harmonies?
Yeah. Okay. I can sing harmonies. Trying to think what else I'd tell them. Be open, yeah. And don't overplay. That's just don't overplay. I know it's when you're young, you definitely want to give it all you got, and it's not about that. It's more listen to the song. And if they ask you to overplay, sure, do it, but don't kick off overplaying and be like, that guy's, it's distracting. Other part I'd say, always have a good drummer is another secret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're getting into a realm of things that I wanted to ask you now. And what would be, but I think you kind of answered that already, but I'm curious still like to hear what would you pick as an answer, as the answer for this question. What would be an advice that you could do, that you could say to young Chris, like which mistakes would you point out and say, hey, don't do that? Or like, is there anything that you would do differently?
Oh yeah, keep your mouth shut. Have no opinion, because you don't know who's your friend and who's not in your camp and all that stuff. Just shut the hell up, which I have a hard time doing. I'm always opinionated with something. I'm like, that drummer was, he's dragging last night, and just always just shut the hell up. If you're getting hired for a gig, you just be quiet and do what's required. Yeah. Play the album. Play what's on the album.
Have you lost any gigs that way?
I think, maybe now again I have, by probably overdoing myself or saying something to the wrong person at the wrong time. I'm like, I have a stupid sense of humor. Like either you get it or you don't. It's like one of those things. But definitely, yeah. If you're going to go on the road, keep your mouth shut and keep the gig.
Sure.
Yeah.
Med Twins have a question for you as well. Chris, please tell your favorite story about you playing with Rockabilly Riot Band and your first impressions about Europe comparing to Australia.
Oh, Europe had a ball. Like was just mayhem. When I was definitely with playing it with SETZER was just unreal. You know, every gig was packed and all the people were lovely too. Like I'd send you a Facebook message and they'd be like, "Hey, we'll come and take you out for lunch," or you know, we'll show you around the countryside, which was beautiful. So a lot of good food and yeah, good times with being in the riot for sure. But then when I done it myself, it was a lot harder. It was like not the same, you know, sleeping on couches. All that was done my head in. Yeah, but definitely loved Europe. That was great. Playing with Brian was just fun every gig. Every night I played with Brian, he kept the signature riffs going for the songs, but he'd always throw something else in. Like Hatton is good at following him with that kind of stuff. Like, so I sort of picked up on what Hatton was doing, and he's like, "Wonder Boy, you starting to rip off some of my riffs." So, hanging out with Johnny was amazing. That was the best part, hanging out with John Hatton every day. We got along really, really good. Yeah, he had that same stupid sense of humor. So I miss him dearly. He's an awesome guy. Like he's funny. Yeah.
So anything like what they asked, like any favorite stories?
Stories
from those tours?
Okay. I think I met Ringo Starr.
Oh wow!
Yep, it's a funny story. Cool. Yeah, I got up. We were doing some festival, so I got up early, put my suit on, and then we had the basses like just behind the stage, like your usual stuff. And there's Ringo Starr playing my double bass. So that was like one of those moments. Didn't have a camera or phone or anything back then. So
that's what I was about to ask you.
That would have been the best.
No. Oh wow.
And because I was in a suit, me and Hatton were dressed. Brian was like in his usual, like something casual gear. Mm-hmm. So they pushed me and Hatton on front of the stage to stand right next to Ringo. And then they wouldn't let Brian, the security didn't know it was Brian Setzer. So it was a funny moment. That was like, yeah, always dress well. That's the other part. Dress well for a good gig. Yeah. It might get you in. Here, come with me, sir. Actually, the main star's behind you, but you didn't realize that. Yeah.
Wow. So, interesting.
That was a fun time. That was a moment. And he was, Ringo Starr was really lovely.
I bet. Was he slapping?
Sorry?
Was he slapping?
He just, like put his hands across it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" You know, he's like, "That's a shiny bass." Like,
that's so cool. Have you talked to him at all? Like, or it was just a brief?
That was a brief. Yeah. Ringo Starr, man. You're like, yeah. Well, what else could you say to him? He's Ringo Starr. Yep. That was amazing.
That's crazy, man. That's really cool. Is there anything that you would recommend to other bass players, like to practice on a daily basis?
Yeah, just main thing would be technique. Just find yourself and buy like metronome as well, or a drum machine. Like just whatever riff it is, like just set a drum sample and play along to it, and record yourself and listen to you. Like it's weird playing it, you think you're perfect, and then you listen back, go, actually, I wasn't that perfect. We could do better. So do little, sample yourself and record yourself back and hear what you're doing. And main thing is make sure you're strong in your technique. Don't be floppy. Yeah.
But do you have any particular exercises that you would say that would be good to practice?
Oh, a rumba feel, always fun to mess, like just loosens your body up, gets you relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Or even a hillbilly, boom, just your normal. Just do that for, good 5-10 minutes, and then just play straight notes. Main thing is, time. Just practice your timing with the slap thing, because you pretty much are a drummer as well. So if you're being loose and sloppy, you're not gonna sit well with your drummer.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a problems fighting feedback, and how do you manage to do that?
Okay, I guess I find it in the mid tones. Always pull them back a little bit if you start getting feedback. I find there's certain frequency in the mids that will make your upright feedback more than usual. Other thing is, find the sweet spots where you put your pickup as well. There is that. Spend a couple of hours and find out where it's like there is that sweet spot to it. And once you find it, don't move it. Don't move it after that.
Yeah. Do you ever use your pickup when you record your bass?
They do it sometimes just for just have another option. And then I'll say, see, I told you the first option was better. The mic is the key, but and sometimes I might just blend the two of them.
Sure.
Depends what they're
What is your favorite? What are your favorite mics to use, and what is the position that you usually use for when you record?
It's basically whatever the studio offers. They'll have some nice ribbon mics. I sort of go near what's that? I'm on the left, the right hand side FO, and then sometimes just even like at ear level, they'll set another one up and just blend the two to find what I'm chasing. But basically, it sometimes just comes from just a room mic.
Okay.
Because sometimes it can get a bit too woofy near the F hole if it's running too hot. Say.
Sure. So you don't use the microphone pointed out to fingerboard to catch the slap.
Nah, that always just cuts through anyway.
Okay.
It depends. It comes down to what you prefer. Like there's some upright bass players where I'm like, that just sounds like someone ticking away, like it doesn't have any bottom end to it. I see some of those players, and I'm like, to me, it's called an upright bass, and it should sound bassy as well as slappy. That's
sure.
Yeah, but each to their own. Some people go, oh, no, I just like the click. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you ever warm up before the shows?
Not really. No, might have a beer or something, laugh, and then go play. Yeah,
You don't do any stretches or meditation?
No, I should do that stuff, but sometimes you do pull something, and you're like, for the rest of the gig, this is going to be painful. Yeah. And also keep your technique up, because once your stamina, I think, drops. That's what I'm facing now. When I just started playing this today, I'm like, I've lost my mojo, the edge things that would be easy is I'm sort of fighting it today. Yep.
Wildcat 13, she's asking you, do you play with a high or low action?
I go in between. I've got probably a finger.
A finger?
A finger near the. Or say I could just get my hand underneath it. That would be my action.
Okay. Okay. That I guess that's
pretty standard.
That I would say that's kind of normal, standard.
Yeah. There's some guys I've seen in New Orleans play with crazy high action and still can pull it off. Like that's a lot of arm strength. It depends what you're doing too. Like, see Necromantic's Kim, he'd have his strings bumped over, But if you're going to take that on the road for 2 or 3 months, you got to be able to perform that every night. So having, just say he was playing normal action with steel strings, you'd give him a month, and then he'd that would kill your fingers playing that quick. That's for sure. So
Jose Arana is asking, what's the worst injury you had on stage while playing?
falling off the back of the stage. Yep.
Oh,
That's a
when did that happen?
Oh, this was in the early 90s. I went to stand on the bass and fell off the stage off the back.
Really?
Yeah, I was a kid, so I jumped straight up. I was fine. You know, if I'd done it now, I'd be in hospital because I put on a bit of weight. As you get older, you just, put on weight. And I don't really stand on them much anymore, too. I'm scared to break them.
You don't
It's
stand
the
on the
one-
bass anymore?
I'm getting pretty fat, man, since lockdown. Like, just been eating and drinking a lot. So
Yeah, there's not much else.
not much to do. I'm sitting on YouTube at night time. Like normally I'd be active, and so I'd be working on the car all day and then come in, eat too much, and just sit on YouTube. That seems to be the recipe. Not a good one. Got a nice.
What are your favorite shows, or what are you watching on YouTube?
Oh, just music. Music 24. Yeah. Once the kids go to bed, it's like music time for dad. Earphones on. Yeah. I get, well, what's my new one? I just keep going through stuff, like keep recycling what I loved when I was a kid, and then I love Led Zeppelin, so I'll be in that mode. Then I'll be like, oh, it's a good Batmobile day. You know, I'll listen to Batmobile for 10 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had Eric Hammers like
I see it. That was awesome. That was a good interview.
Do you have a way like to create your bass lines? Do you have like any kind of pattern the way you do that?
I think passing notes is my favorite. So if I'm doing a G. Just passing note seems to just keeps it a little bit more interesting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you get that kind of from jazz or from listening to something else?
A bit of jazz, early blues had a bit of that going on as well in it. Yeah, rather than just playing 1, 2, 3, 4, like the same repetitive riff.
Okay.
Mix it up a bit. Makes it sound a little bit more interesting, and listen to the guitar players.
More of a walking bass approach than actual like arpeggios, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You're walking, but walk wherever you feel like. And if you hear the guitarist going somewhere, try and follow him with that. That's a good album. Johnny Hatton's one that he played, Nitro Burning Funny Daddy or something like that.
Yeah.
That's got some good bass lines on it. Hatton plays some killer stuff. And you can hear that. I love the sound of that upright too. It's like steel string. It's gritty. It's a bit dirty, but it's got what it needs. Whereas other steel string basses, I played steel for years, but I could never find my sweet spot in it. It always had this processed, clunky sort of sound. It probably work in some styles of music, But if you're trying to play like a authentic kind of 50s rockabilly sound, it sounded like a neo sounding. It couldn't quite capture the sound. Yeah, but you've got that down. You have it.
I was about to say, when I played with Wanda Jackson and in Scotty Moore's band and with, Dale Hawkins, Joe Clay, with all those people, I always used steel strings, and those are definitely my strings of choice. But
but you
I respect different approaches.
you got the sound, man. I just love that sound of it. It sounds like an upright, whereas the magnetic thing doesn't sound.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to.
Sound like lots of those neo rockabilly bands that use the magnetic.
Straight off the bat, you can hear it.
Yes. So when you tour, or when you toured in the past, would you usually tour with your bass? Would you travel with your bass, or would you just use the ass for the backline?
I've had that many broken now. Like the last couple I tried, I'd even just buy a bass when I got to the city or whatever, because I've had it happen to some pretty nice bases that I've had where they sign oversized luggage from Australia, all care, no responsibility. So I've got to places and like the neck's off it, and it's just like, oh well, you've signed. They make you sign that, otherwise they won't put it on the plane. But with saying that, they don't cover you for breakage.
Oh,
yeah. So
you got some broken bases?
Yeah, I fix them. Up. Some I've had to actually replace the whole neck because the heel's been broken that bad you can't. So just find an old upright, someone selling a part of a neck or something. I'll buy that and shape it and
would you
back on.
Fix it by yourself?
Yeah, yep. I don't have that kind of money to go to a luthier because they're damn expensive in Australia.
Oh, everything is expensive in Australia.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like being in Zurich or something. I found Zurich expensive when I was there. I was like, man, this feels like home.
Yeah, and I remember, when I toured Australia with Tiger Army, it was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I think that I kind of asked you everything I wanted to ask? Is there anything that you would like to mention before we end this episode?
Oh, just love your playing, man. You, Joe Flick. The guy from Nick Curran, he's another good bass player as well. I don't know his name, but that was another point of like, wow, listen to that guy swinging,
A few people played with Nick Curran. I think you are thinking about Billy Horton, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think does he play with Jimmy Vaughan now and again as well? Is that the
sorry?
Jimmy Vaughan? I've seen like a couple of clips. Look like the same dude.
I think he did. He might have. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that Billy played with Jimmy Vaughan as well. One band that he's mostly famous for playing with the Horton brothers with his brother Bobby, and he also played on the first album of Hot Club of Cowtown.
Wow. Okay. I live in Australia, under a rock. All right.
Yeah, it's that whole Austin scene is pretty amazing, and they had their own thing going on, which is really cool. All right, so we're gonna do the lesson, some other time, since we're not able to mention do that now. It would be kind of really hard without
really hard. Yeah.
I think that all these people deserve to see your hands while you're playing, so we're gonna do that some other time.
Sweet, man.
And
I'll work it out.
Thanks a lot for being a part of the Slapstream. And
I
have one more question for you. What still inspire you to do what you do?
It's a love for it. There's times where I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? There's that. It's a part of you soul, I think, that you just can't let it go. Even if I'm playing covers just to feed my kids, well, so be it. There's that passion there for music. And I think upright is the most amazing instrument. Like, let's be honest, you got an upright bass, people are wowed by it straight away. And when they hear it, that's just blows their mind. And I don't think many instruments can do that. Just I find them totally amazing. And man, hands down to you for putting this together. You're doing an incredible thing. Imagine the talent that's going to come out of this with young kids who are passionate.
I really hope
And
so.
yeah, we're just totally blown away by, because it's like a baton. You're passing what you know on, and if you're already giving them this start, like I'm sure you had to work this all out yourself as well, where you had to buy a record or there wasn't that much around to, like now it's just type it in and there it is. But this is like the spot to go to. So
I think so.
bless your heart,
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Okay. We have Nicolas Duboucher. Right now he wrote, "Hi bros, I can be here this time. Chris, your connection is as good as mine."
Awesome.
So he's talking about
we
your internet because we had some issues.
He's a beautiful player, man. I was in a car park somewhere and he brought his upright out and started playing for me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a lovely fella. He's a beautiful. He plays some nice tones too. I love his feel.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have also the sort of Mick. He wrote, "We should get the old band back together, Rockabilly jam session."
Yeah, let's do that. Have a bit of fun for a day. Yeah, man.
Cool, man. All right, Chris. Thanks so much for being a part of the Slapstream, and I can't wait to see you play live. Hopefully, that's gonna happen in the near future, and we're gonna do that, slap lesson one of these days when we can make sure that the camera is working and the connection is fine and all of that.
Yeah, man. Sorry about that.
It's all good. I think it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I had fun. I had fun talking to you, man. You're an awesome bass player.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Killer. I was like, just beautiful. Yeah, and you're very versatile with your style as well. Like,
thank you. I'm
that
trying.
makes a big difference. That makes a great bass player, ladies and gentlemen. What you have in front of you, he can play any style and make it sound good.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks a lot, Chris, and good luck with everything. And you go play more of that bass now. Since the lockdown is done in Australia.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Be safe,
right,
man.
You too.
Be safe, man. Get through these tough times. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, people. This is the end of the 33rd is, how's that even possible? 33 episode of the upright slap bass of the Slapstream with Djordje, live from Slapsville. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and slap that like. That really helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you really would like to support the channel, please check out the Patreon in the description of the video, and PayPal and Venmo. It helps me out, like, to continue doing the I'm reading the comments now. It's really helping me out to continue doing the Slapstream. I would like to thank all of these viewers. Sasha just wrote something that it's actually very funny. It's easy you to say that Djordje is you're from Tesla land. Tesla, if you're familiar with Nikola Tesla, he was famous, one of the best scientists from my country, Serbia. I mean, he was Serbian. He was, but I would like to give a shout out to a friend of mine that has a Tesla vision, and then I might even do the one of the episodes when he can help me out producing this. It will be fun. He has lots of experience. And another great friend of mine, one of my first heroes that just joined. Maybe he was here through the whole time. Veljko Veselinovic. He wrote, "Thank you, Djordje, for all of these slap streams. Thank you, Veljko, for playing that all those Vera Kvark gigs that I attended when I was 10, 11, 12, and for showing me that rock this down." Like, all right. Thank you all, and don't forget, never fret, slide it in smooth, and keep it in the groove. I'm Djordje, your friendly neighborhood bull fiddle cat, and I'll see you next Saturday.